Hello there, thanks for coming by PosterCentral.com's video blog today. I'm Pete Howard and I'm obviously holding a Doors poster from 1970 from Boston, Massachusetts, and sort of a striking different design, a black and white cardboard telephone pole sized telephone pole poster amongst a huge array of psychedelic concert posters that were usually used to advertise Doors posters at this time, the late 60s and into 70. But this is a boxer. This is a boxing style, straight, black and white, and very effective look. I think it's got really nice composition. As you can see, the date is really plastered and the Boston Arena right across the top there. I love that big Doors logo right there in the middle. That really looks nice. And then you get down to the detailed ticket information and so forth at the bottom. Interestingly, look at Jim Morrison's commanding performance. He was larger than life even on their posters, not just, in every other media and on stage and so forth. He must be 50% bigger than the other band members, and heck, he's probably twice as big as Densmore down there below him. So anyway, I'm guessing that's not an accident. The poster designer definitely had that in mind. So, but I just really like the poster. I think it's a nice change of pace from all the beautiful, colorful psychedelic concert posters representing the Doors during their heyday. So, and even Robbie Krieger, it's kind of interesting the way he's understated there. He's looking down and he's got glasses on, but again, it is what it is, and every Doors concert poster tends to use a different picture of them so you can get any combination that you like, I suppose. Interestingly, these two concerts, two shows at 7 and 10 p.m., as you can see, were actually released in their entirety on the Bright Midnight implant, which is the Doors' own implant, on 3 different compact discs. So if you have the poster, you can listen to exactly what went down that night, which is really fun. This was the very first gig of their Morrison Hotel tour in early 1970, and that album had been really well received. The critics really liked it, the Doors' 5th album, and it had been out about 6 weeks or so. So this was the band's first gig in a couple of months as they came out on this tour, and they were really charged up from the really warm reception that Morrison Hotel had received. So they were really on their game, I guess you could say. And the first show at 7 p.m. opened with Roadhouse Blues, which was the first track on the new record, and closed, not surprisingly, with Light My Fire, and a pretty standard show by all accounts. Second concert, though, at 10 p.m. was another story. It wasn't at 10 p.m. It started after midnight, like at 12:15 a.m., and they opened with Break On Through, which was the first track on their first album from 1967, and they closed conventionally with Light My Fire, but the band stretched things out. They were more charged up. Of course, they were a party band, and it was later at night and everything, and they attempted to do a new track from their which would come out in 1971 on L.A. Woman, and that's been down so long. And guess what happened? The power was cut. Yep, the frustrated hall manager was just ticked off. The Doors were going so long, so he cut off the power at 2 a.m. Well, Morrison just flipped out, and you can hear it on the CDs. He cusses, and he gets really unhappy, and Manzarek runs over and puts his hand over his mouth and says, "Come on, Jim, we don't want to get in any more trouble," because the Doors were under tremendous scrutiny at this time because Morrison was in full mode bad boy behavior. So yeah, they really they really were upset that the power was cut off. And at the show in Boston was a representative from their next gig in Salt Lake City, because there'd been a lot of controversy about the Doors and Morrison's behavior, so he was checking it out for ultra-conservative Salt Lake City, and he saw the way this thing, the way this thing ended, and Jim Morrison drinking heavily through both shows and acting wild and crazy and really high from the great reviews for Morrison Hotel, and they canceled the show. So the next day the Doors gig in Salt Lake City was canceled, and Morrison told a reporter, he said, just having the power cut to a show is just his pet peeve. He just absolutely hates it because it not only rips off the band, it rips off the paying public who had bought tickets. But, other than that, these shows got rave reviews. The Boston Globe just praised them to the heavens and everything, so the Doors truly were on fire. And they were both recorded, as I said, in their entirety. Not for the Bright Midnight came out, of course, decades later, but they were recorded for the Absolutely Live album, which was released just 3 months later. And you might wonder, okay, so which tracks from which shows were used for Absolutely Live? And that's where it gets funny, because you can't possibly say, because Doors producer Paul Rothschild said in an interview that that album, Absolutely Live, was a Frankenstein monster of edits, just a snippet here and a snippet there. And he even said there must have been a couple of thousand edits on that live album, so you can't possibly, make rhyme nor reason about which tracks were used. We always like to mention the opening act. There you see him, Gordon Lowe, below the Doors logo, introducing, and he had an independent album out in 1970 which was co-produced by Kenny Gamble of Gamble and Huff and recorded in Philadelphia. But I think it was not, it certainly wasn't a soul music record, it was just a, indie rock record. So, and he pretty quickly fell off the map. So, speaking of falling off the map, about 8 months later, the Doors would have their final show with Jim Morrison, and then 15 months later, we would lose Jim for good in Paris as he passed away 15 months after the show. So, but in the meantime, we're celebrating the Lizard here with a great concert poster, boxing-style cardboard concert poster from Boston from '70, and I really enjoyed talking about it. So, hope you enjoyed seeing it, and thanks a lot for stopping by. We'll see you next time. Okay, bye-bye.